Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to this Saturday morning. We have a live show coming to you a day earlier this week because we got the NFL playoffs kicking off already. Joining the studio as always, boy AJ. What's going on, man?
What up? Hey, by the way, it's afternoon. It's 12:45, so get that shit straight.
Feels like morning. I just woke up, or felt like I did. I laid on the couch for probably 4 hours this morning doing nothing. But anyways, guys, welcome in. We have NFL playoffs today, dude.
Yeah, let's go.
First game on the slate. Who do we got? We got the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost said the Oakland Raiders.
Same.
Same team, same fans.
Yeah.
Traveling to Cincy.
Yeah. It's going to be a good one.
How you feeling about that one? I know you're a big Joe Burrow guy.
Yeah, I love the Bengals, man. I love everything they're doing with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Uzama and Joe Mixon. The O-line looks okay. It looks better than last year. Obviously, Joe Burrow ended up with an ACL injury last year. But, man, I don't know. The Raiders are like, what are they?
Yeah, I'm kind of – I like the Raiders, but the problem is I also like the Bengals, and I think I like the Bengals more just like as far as like personal preference. Now, skill wise, I think the Bengals are definitely a lot more stacked than the Raiders are. I feel.
Do you think it's going to come down to quarterback play? Like because Derek Carr is more than a capable quarterback. He's like he's really good actually. Now they don't have as many weapons as the Bengals do, but I think you put Derek Carr with the Bengals, I think they're even better team. I think Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Burrow. I mean, right now, just because of what he's done with the team that doesn't have anything. You know, their best receiver is Zay Jones. Well, Darren Waller, but he's been up and down. You know, so it's going to be a fun game to watch.
I think I like Joe Burrow better than Derek Carr. Like to be honest with you, simply just 'cause he's got, in my opinion, more weapons. Like yes, he's got Darren Waller, but I think it not necessarily maybe quarterback play, but I think it's going to come down to how getting the ball to the playmakers of the offense, which Cincinnati has a lot of those.
Yeah.
In comparison to the Raiders.
Exactly, and that's why I like the Bengals in this game. Yeah. I think side by side, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, same receivers, same tight ends, everything. I think Derek Carr is right now at a better spot as a quarterback than Burrow is.
Sure.
Burrow's still learning. He's making some dumb decisions sometimes, because he's throwing the ball so much. But I think if the Bengals go out with a balanced attack, hand the ball off to Joe Mixon, maybe throw Mixon the ball out of the backfield, get a little bit of play action rolling, getting Joe Burrow comfortable in his first, I think it's his first playoff game.
Yeah, because he didn't make it.
Yeah,
they didn't make the playoffs last year, but even if they would have, he was out.
Well, in the first playoffs that the Bengals have made since the Chad Ochocinco and Hushmanzada era or Marvin Lewis era, so this is gonna be a fun game. I think that the thing about Derek Carr and the Raiders is the same thing that Ben Roethlisberger came on and talked about the Steelers. What do they have to lose? The cards were stacked against them this year with the Henry Ruggs situation, John Gruden getting fired for emails, and really being kind of dismantled from the beginning of the season and winning 5 games. I think 5 games in the last minute drives in overtime or in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Speaking of overtimes, flashback real quick to Week 18.
Yeah.
Do you think the Raiders were about to take a tie there at the end?
Gosh.
Or do you...
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, nobody will ever know except for the Raiders themselves.
What's crazy is like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Al Michaels or Chris Collinsworth, one of the two, whatever. I think it was Chris Collinsworth was like, well, this game's pretty much over, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, they're down 14 right now or 15. And I'm like, well, I guess it's over. So I turned it off. And I get a notification on my phone, and it's like 7 points. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta turn it back on. And watching Justin Herbert chunk a 4th and 21 or whatever it was play to convert.
Yep.
They go into overtime, and the whole situation with is it going to be a tie?
And the Steelers were sweating at this point.
Yeah. Well, so the situation is if they tie, the Raiders and the Chargers make the playoffs, and the Steelers are kicked out. Whoever wins that game, though, makes the playoffs, and the Steelers get to make the playoffs too.
Sure.
So you're sitting there with Steelers and Raiders now, and at the end of the game, The Raiders are driving down the field. They're at like the 39-yard line, which I think they said it would have made a 57-yard field. It would have to have been a 57-yard field goal. And Staley takes a timeout. He wants to get his team rest to come back out to stop the run, basically, because the Raiders are running the ball and not calling timeouts. Calls a timeout, gets a 10-yard run. Now they're kicking an easy field goal. And everybody's giving Brandon Staley crap for making that timeout. They're like, well, they were just going to run the clock out. That might be true, but you play to win the game. You don't play to tie in a competitive environment where it's a professional league. Yeah, maybe if this is high school, those dudes might, hey, man, we're going to tie this. We'll both go to playoffs, but this is not high school. So I don't think there was ever a real idea of there being a tie, ever.
I feel like when they're both in a 50-yard field goal situation there at the very end of the game in overtime, that's when you take that tie.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean...
But well, why not? Because so what did the Raiders have to lose?
Yeah. The only thing, by him calling the timeout, though, the Raiders were able to get that 10-yard gain and then get an easier field goal, and then at that point, not get... Either way, they were going to kick a field goal. It's just it was going to be a long one. They weren't going to take a tie there at the end for sure.
They weren't going to try to take the tie. I think they were
going to try to kick the field goal from wherever they were at.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's a fucking 65-yarder, they were going to kick that.
Yeah, and if they don't make it, then cool, we're both going to the playoffs. If we make it, we're going to the playoffs and we're good.
Sorry about your bad luck.
Yeah, and you can't, like, everybody's giving Brandon Staley crap for that, and I'm like, well, you can't really do that to him. He's trying to do the right thing as a coach. He followed the analytics. I bet he regrets it now, but the dude has a second-year quarterback, right? He's had injuries, ups and downs with his team. Mike Williams is in and out. There's still a young team, developing team. They're going to be on the forefront next year. Yep. I think they're going to eventually be the best team in Los Angeles once Matt Stafford's done.
Think about this, man. Everybody talks about the analytics. How much did the analytics screw teams over this year? You had them at the end there.
A lot.
The Ravens lost 2 times because they chose to go for 2 instead of taking the game to overtime.
Yep.
Because the analytics said, hey, you've got a better shot.
Yep.
Once with Lamar, once with Huntley.
Yep.
I mean, that's at least 3 right there that I can think of just off the top of my head. I'm sure there's more than that. But, dude, it just kind of comes back to, like, sometimes, like, the analytics are there, yes, but, like, sometimes it just helps to have a coach that just has that football, like, intuition. Like, Bill Belichick doesn't look at the analytics of things. He just, he sees it, he feels it, and he does it, you know? Yeah. Those are the types of coaches. It's weird how that works.
Well, and
I'm not an anti-analytics guy or anything, but it's just you can make a stat to form in.
I think it's a combination of both. You let the analytics drive your decision, but when it's close, you use your intuition. You know what I mean? Like if the analytics say 99% of the time this is what you do,
that's a little bit different.
That's different. But if it's like 51 or 51-49, why would you not go with the play that makes sense? And to me, the worst thing for analytics for me is these guys go and they make a decision based on, okay, 4th down is way more more favorable for the analytics, score touchdowns and not kicking field goals. If your team is not good enough to get down the field in 3 downs every time and you may not score a touchdown, why not just put points on the board?
Yeah.
You've seen that all season where it's like, we're not kicking the field goal because, if they miss it, then we don't have any points. And then, 7 points is more than 3. Well, yeah, no kidding. But if your team can't score in the red zone, what are the analytics telling you? It doesn't even make sense. Yeah. Kick the field goal, get 3 points, and live to, have your defense stop them. Like, that's how football is played. And I think that analytics has kind of screwed that up. Like, that's why, people are making fun of on Twitter the that thing or whatever. They're like, well, the analytics say this is not this is 98% not going to be a catch, and they catch it.
Yeah.
Like, it just shows like stats are bullcrap, right?
Correct. Like I said, you can make a stat to form any opinion that you need for whatever narrative you're trying to push at this point, just because there's so many different. Oh, when this person's on the field in this situation with 2 running backs on the field and no tight end and 2 on the left and then the second string secondary in the back.
What stats?
He's 89% to complete it.
The thing about human beings though, is we're not stat driven. We're not robots. Our brains work so quickly and so fast that emotions play into how games are ran.
Yeah.
And if you don't take the emotional side of football into account, your stats are not gonna be you're not gonna get the right answer every time. Like exactly. Like what I heard somebody talk about it, maybe on First Take or something like that, but they talked about, maybe it was Pat McAfee's show, but they talked about stats don't pick up on momentum. Like stats don't take the momentum of the game, which football, is a huge momentous game.
Yeah.
Stats don't take momentum into a play.
Correct.
So like if your team's driving down the field and you have zero momentum during this game and the stats are saying go for it on fourth down, you have to get points to kill that momentum.
And I feel like some of the like player styles, like their style of play, not every player plays the exact same way. Some of that comes into account as well. The analytics aren't thinking of that. Like, what defines a scrambling quarterback? What defines a pocket passer? I mean, you can tell with the eye test on a lot of them, but like, what metric would put him in that category? Like, how do they decide that? There wouldn't be any.
And are they gonna, when they scramble, are they gonna
for that? So
exactly, and when they scramble, are they gonna wig out and throw the ball where they're not supposed to throw it? Like that's and the same thing goes for like offensive and defensive lines. There's no stat to show an offensive line and running the ball has beat the crap out of the defensive line who's exhausted in the fourth quarter. There's no stat to show that. There's no stat to show that the safeties and linebackers are sick of tackling Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, because he's just running them over. There's no stat to show that. So, like, yeah, I think it's nice to drive some decisions. And especially, like, maybe it helps a coin toss type situation, right? Sure. You're like, oh, I don't really know. And the stats kind of say, well, this is a 60%, this is a 40%. And you're like, okay, well, I'll go with the stats on that one. And sorry, my dog is in here. He's doing his thing. But and the stats, they may drive a decision. But like, so getting back to the game today, I think it's going to be close. So I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I think the Bengals will pull it off. It'll be a 27-24, 30-27 type of game. I just don't think that Derek Carr is going to have the juice this time. Mm-hmm. I think he's had the juice for all season, kind of pulling his team out and doing it or whatever. But now I think the Bengals are a much better team than the Raiders are, and I think that it's the playoffs, so it's going to be a little different. And what's interesting is think about is there are 3 players on that receiving. Well, there's 3 players in the passing game that are all national champions. Mm. T. Higgins, Clemson, Jamar Chase, LSU, Joe Burrow, LSU. And by the way, 2 of them played together.
Yep.
So I think that, they have the winning juice. They know how to win. They know how to win championships. They know the playoff atmosphere. And so, that's I think that's going to be a big factor in today. And I think Uzama is one of those guys that is their tight end. I think is underrated. I think Darren Waller is a bit overrated. Mm-hmm. I read that he's been struggling with alcoholism throughout his injuries. How does that affect his body? How does that affect his mental? Mm-hmm. And I think that if the Raiders don't run the ball, if they don't give the ball to Josh Jacobs, which they haven't, I think that Derek Carr is going to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. I think that the Cincinnati defense is good enough. They picked up, I think his name's Hendrickson or whatever, the defensive end, mm-hmm. who's crushed it all season. He's got like 14 sacks or something. I think that defense is good enough to stop Derek Carr. Now, they're lucky it's in Cincinnati because Las Vegas has played in a dome all year. And Cincinnati, we know, famously doesn't have an outdoor practice facility, where you've got Sulphur Springs in Quinlan in Texas that has indoor facilities. So that toughness of that team is probably going to be cold today. Mm-hmm. If I had to guess, I'd like to see the weather report on that. But the weather, I think the weather plays a big factor as well in this game. And then just that X factor, man. I think Jamar Chase is an X factor like Tyreek Hill's an X factor. I think he's a threat to score every time he gets the ball. And then T. Higgins is that 15 yards, 10 yards, catch the ball type of player. You know what I mean?
I do agree that the Bengals have the weapons and everything like that. I don't know what it is, though. I really like the Raiders.
I do like them.
So to me, I have a dog on each side that I think can do something. My AFC dog is going to be the Raiders. I think I really do like the Bengals, but I think in the playoffs here, you've got Derek Carr, who is a vet. I know Joe Burrow's played the national championship. He's done all that. But this is the men's league, all right?
Yeah. He's a full man.
And so he's played great this year, don't get me wrong. And I think he's going to play well today. But I think Derek Carr is going to kind of put the team on his back a little bit. He's got it.
And he has all season.
He's going to do it. I mean, the cards have been stacked against him all year. Coach is gone. One of their top wideouts gone.
Right.
Darren Waller is off and on injured. Don't know what you're going to get from him, but whenever he is, they're on. I think that he's going to connect, though, with Darren Waller quite a bit today.
Zay Jones has been a X factor that has been played pretty well. Nobody's thought about.
I think
Hunter Renfro's good.
Yeah, I think Renfro's going to get in the end zone. If it's not Darren Waller getting in, I think Renfro's getting in for him. I'm saying they win by 2 or 3, not anything more. I think it's going to be a struggle for them. I do think I think they're going to be the ones in the AFC that creep up and get somebody on Wildcard weekend. I just don't, because the other wild cards on the AFC side I'm not seeing doing it.
So I think this game's going to be sloppy.
I'm trying to look up the weather for us.
I think regardless of whether it's 30 degrees or 0 or whatever it is, I know it's supposed to snow in that area this weekend. I don't know if it's going to do it today. But
game time is what? 3:30 today,
4:30 there. 4:30 there.
It's gonna be 33 degrees. A few afternoon snow showers.
It's gonna be sloppy.
It's gonna be a messy game, which could play into the Bengals' favor because if they turn to Joe Mixon at that point.
But hear me out though. So I think that's where it switches to the Vegas teams, the Raiders. I think it switches their favor because I think Vegas has a better running back. The problem is they don't utilize him as well.
I was going to say, what I feel like
Josh Jacobs is a better running back.
They're going to rely a lot on Derek Carr today on the Raiders side. Oh, yeah. So if it is a sloppy game to where they can't get the passing game going, to your point, they're going to neglect Jacobs. And then what's going to happen is the Bengals are going to turn to Joe Mixon, who's going to turn it up and get loose. That right there is the way that I see the Bengals winning. I can see the Bengals winning if they're superstar players just come out and just
are playing,
just are absolutely on. But they've been streaky this year at times.
They have been.
They've been off and on.
But the good thing for the Bengals is the last 5 games. I
believe the Bengals have played the Raiders this year. How did they do last? They played them
and they crushed them.
They beat them 32-13. So rough. I'm taking a bad. That may be a bad pick on my part.
But hear me out. So both teams are coming into a hot streak. The Bengals lost the last game of the season because Joe Burrow didn't play.
Correct.
Right. So take that off the table. But going into the end of the season, they beat the Chiefs. Right. They beat the Chiefs by 3.
Yep. They did. Yep.
Like you can't tell me that doesn't prep you for the playoffs more than anything. You're playing the best quarterback or second. I think the second best quarterback right now in the AFC.
You were playing the predicted Super Bowl representative.
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
AFC,
exactly.
You beat them.
You last year's AFC rep, and I think that's huge, and I think that builds confidence for Joe Burrow. Now this is a super interesting thing because I really the situation with Vegas is super interesting. To be able to go, your next star receiver, Henry Ruggs, gets in an accident going 150 miles an hour in a Corvette, drunk, right? Kills the person. Huge deal. Car catches on fire, all this stuff. He's in prison. He's going to prison. I mean, I'm not saying he's in prison, innocent until proven guilty, but he's done, right?
He's been playing 2K.
Yeah, he's been playing 2K, and then 3 weeks before that or 2 weeks before that, John Gruden gets fired for crazy emails and all this stuff, and then Derek Carr is like, hey, we've got a new coach, Bisaccia, who's apparently been doing really well. And you don't even know if he's going to be your head coach next year. So that adds a little bit of a weird element. And then Josh Jacobs is hurt every other week. And so is Kenyon Drake. And your running game's off and on. You have young receivers. You got a constant in Renfro. Zay Jones athletic, but we don't really know who he is yet. Darren Waller's been hurt. I think Derek Carr has done a stand-up job as a leader of that team. and you can see it that team really likes him, and he wasn't getting a lot of credit, and that's why I like him as a quarterback. But at the same time, Joe Burrow is the same way. Joe Burrow is a great leader too. Joe Burrow, he gets hit like every play, even now.
Yeah, they've got to do something about that. But they can worry about that
next year.
The playoffs. After the playoffs.
That's why I say if the Bengals come out with a balanced attack and they get the ball out of Burrow's hands quickly, one-step slants, hand the ball off, get the ball on a wide receiver or running back screen, some read option type stuff, like not read options, but RPO type stuff, then they'll be fine. You got to let Joe Burrow settle in quickly. Don't let him play from behind because it's going to be rough. But I think that they have the tools. They have like the full tool belt, and the Raiders have like one or two of the tools. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas the Bengals have it all. Correct. They just have to play right. And you'll see the. I'm surprised there hasn't been more buzz for the offensive coordinator for the Bengals because I think he's done a great job.
Well, yeah, they've been one of the most explosive offenses at times this season.
Dude, a couple weeks ago, Burrow had 525 passing yards, and T. Higgins had almost 200 yards receiving. Then the next game, sorry, Chase, you only had 100 yards last week. Here's your 200-yard game with 3 touchdowns. Like, what?
Yeah. When you got multiple receivers that can do that week in and week out, that makes you scary. Because if one's off, well, okay, maybe the other one's on. If they're both on, watch out.
So here's my takeaway for the game. Whoever has more interceptions will lose. That's easy. If Derek Carr has 3 and Joe Burrow has 2, they're winning. Vice versa. If Burrow has Burrow has more interceptions, they'll lose.
I think this one's going to come down to, be honest with you, I think it's going to come down to the field position game. I don't think either one of those guys are going to turn the ball over often. I feel like they're both pretty decent.
But it's playoffs.
Taking care of it. They may be willing to risk it a little bit more, but I think both teams are going to look to play it safe at times. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot, at least not from the Raiders, probably a whole lot of going for it on 4th down, even in like middle of the field situations. I think they're going to punt, flip the field.
Well, they've got a really good punter too,
and then
good kicker.
Utilize the field position game.
Yeah,
keep it close, keep it low, and hopefully pull something off there.
And maybe an X factor I didn't even think about. You sparked my my thoughts on it. The Raiders have a really good kicker.
Yep,
he's won 5 games from field goals.
Yep.
Dan Carlson's a beast.
Yeah, and let's not forget how many missed kicks the Bengals kicker had whenever him and Mason Crosby had just 6 straight between the two of them. Boom, 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 boom. Can't make it.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
I mean, it is possible that special teams could be the difference
if it's a close game. Now, if it ends up where it's a routing game, like where like the last game where the Raiders lost to the Bengals 32-13, that's going to be a different story. But let's move on to the next game.
All right. So before we move on to the next game, though, you've got Bengals.
I got Bengals by 3.
Bengals by 3, and I'm gonna say Raiders by 3. I like the Bengals too, but I've got to go with the Raiders simply because I got to pull form with my daughter since she's been a huge fan since they decided to beat the Cowboys earlier this season. I'm raising a little Cowboy hater over here.
That was Thanksgiving. That was a tough game.
Yeah.
All right.
The things that I'm thankful for. All right, next game, the game that we've got coming up at 7:15 tonight. You've got Patriots going to the Bills. This is going to be the 3rd time they've played each other in about a month and a half.
Yep. 1-1. Yeah. The Bills won the second game. The Patriots won the first game where they only passed the ball 3 times.
Yeah, this is tough because it's tough to beat any team twice, and they're at the end of the day, one of these teams is going to have beaten the other team twice whenever we're done, right?
Right. Man,
in this one though, I like the Bills more. Even though they've got the issues with their stadium, 18% of their ticket holders, I believe they said, is Canadian. They can't come across the border for whatever reason.
Well, they can come across the border, but they have like a strict testing. And right now, it's hard to get tests. Yeah. So when they get here, or before they leave, probably, if I had to guess, or one of the two. So I think they have to test before they leave and test when they get there. It makes it a pain in the ass. So if you think about geographically, Buffalo is literally on the border of New York and Canada. I believe it's what province is it? It's the French province. I can't think of what it's called.
Forgive us, Canada. We mean no disrespect.
Anyways, the only province I know about is Manitoba because I used to live in that area. But it's Quebec. I think it's in the Quebec area. Anyways, so their fan base a lot is Canada. Like all those people that would be like Toronto fans, if they had a Toronto football team, are Buffalo Bills fans. And so those guys are having a tough time coming across the border. So you're seeing $50, $40 tickets at the Buffalo Bills games.
Here we go. For $49, you can sit in, what row is this? Shit, I lost it. Either way, it was a nosebleed seat. But for $49, you can go watch playoff football in the NFL.
Try doing that at the Cowboys game.
That is insane. Yeah, Cowboys game tomorrow. Yeah, you will be lucky to not spend probably $1,000 if you're going to the game. If you're going to that game, you can go tailgate it and spend $50, I guess, on parking or whatever it is.
So who do you said you like the Bills in this one?
Yeah. So anyway, circling back. Sorry, I got off on the tangent with the tickets. I just think that's crazy that they're saying potentially they could not have like a full stadium for a playoff game, which is insane to me. But at the same time, though, those tickets are that cheap. I have a feeling the rowdy folk are going to be getting out.
Yes.
So everybody's worried, like, oh, so it may not be full. It may not be full. But for $49 tickets, let's face it, we've all been to a sporting event. And I'm not saying it's like this everywhere, but at some events I've been to, if you sit in the nosebleeds, you have a little bit more fun time with the fans. It's a lot more rowdy, a little bit more vulgar.
Yep.
A lot of fun, right?
A lot of alcohol being
consumed.
Yep.
Good time. You usually, when you venture down lower, you still get a little bit of that, but I feel like you get more of your like
snooty people.
Or your
not everybody.
Not necessarily snooty, but like your more upstanding individuals that
the guys are afraid like, hey, I can't get arrested.
Yeah, today. I don't want to get arrested, or I don't want to be caught doing something dumb because I've got this job or whatever. Yeah. Anyways, we've all been there. So I think if with playoff tickets being as cheap as they are, you're gonna get a lot of your blue collar folk that are gonna come in and part of the Bills Mafia bunch, and I mean just the area that you're in. Think about the area there. They're blue collar.
Yeah.
Got to grit it out through these cold ass winters. And they're gonna get out there and they're gonna be rowdy, I think. And so even though it may not be full, it's gonna sound like it's full. But I like the Bills because the weather's not too terribly crazy. I think Josh Allen. It's gonna be cold. I think Josh Allen's gonna be able to get loose. I don't think like I said this like last week or the week before. I don't think the Patriots are that team, man. I don't think Mac Jones is the guy. He's the guy of all the rookies right now, but he got carried by his defense all year. I think the Bills take this one by 14.
Yeah. So the Bills have
if not more.
I think the Bills have the top scoring defense in the league, and nobody. And what's crazy is they had 0 Pro Bowlers. They had some of the best defensive players in the league and 0 Pro Bowlers. And I think the Bills come out with a little bit of swagger, kind of like a chip on their shoulder. I really, really like Josh Allen as a quarterback. He's my favorite quarterback in the league. And, I'm a Cowboys fan. So Josh Allen's just an incredible talent, incredible person. And I think it's going to be a wild game. It's going to be blow for blow, haymaker after haymaker. And if the Patriots are able to control the line of scrimmage with the run game, they'll win. Yeah. And that's the bad part is the Patriots have 2 really good running backs and 3 running backs that can play. And if they control the line of scrimmage and run the ball and don't turn the ball over, and Buffalo can't get the ball going, they can't throw the ball.
Yep.
It's over for the Bills. But I think the Bills defense is going to come out humming. I think that they're ready. They have 2 really good safeties, and it's going to be a fun game to watch.
I think the Buffalo Bills are pissed off too. I think they're still pissed off about the first loss, even though they got revenge and beat the hell out of the Patriots second time around.
They're still mad about that.
I think they're still mad about it. I think they're taking this time to kind of get their vengeance on the Patriots because the Patriots have kicked the dog shit out of them much in the past 20 years that they this is their time. I think the Bills are like, this is our time, and I think they're playing with that chip on their shoulder.
I 100%.
They're still my pick for being AFC representative. I don't care what other teams are out there. I think they're going to be able to go on a run. I mean, the only way is if they,
it's wide open in the AFC.
Correct.
The top seed in the AFC is the Titans, who didn't even have their star running back for 7 weeks.
Correct.
So the Bills are an interesting team. The Bills famously lost 4 Super Bowls in a row in the early 90s, mm-hmm. 2 of them to the Cowboys, which is like, I think they're cursed. Mm-hmm. Since then. So I think that they need to come out and pull a Boston Red Sox, Chicago Cubs type win, and go on a run. And when they get to the Super Bowl, they just have to have that X factor, and that X factor is there. Josh Allen, correct. He's an incredible quarterback. I think that at some point, this game is going to come down to coaching, and if they make the right decision. And Sean McDermott's a really good coach, and so is Bill Belichick. We know that, obviously, the greatest coach of all time. It's hard to dispute. And I think that at some point we're going to have to figure out, like, they're going to have to say, hey, we have to make a play. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs have to make a play. Cole Beasley has to make a play. And it's going to come down to 1 or 2 plays. I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
My hope is the Bills. I'm going to call the Bills on this one. I like 3, but I'm going to go with the Bills by 1. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be like a 28, 27, 31, 30 type game. Maybe even lower, maybe 17, 16, like some albatross game,
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it. It's going to be at least 14 by the Bills, man.
You think so?
I think so. I think the Bills are going to beat the hell out of them.
Okay. I just know that they're 2 division rivals, familiar with each other. They've already played. They've already went 1-1. They're in Buffalo. But Patriots fans will travel, I think, once they see that price tag. It's not too far of a trip.
Yeah.
Just across the Hab over there,
Over
there. So that's my terrible Boston accent. But I would love to see nothing more than the Patriots get absolutely destroyed.
Dog walked out of the park.
But I don't think it's going to happen. And for all the Patriots fans out there, if you lose, I don't feel bad for you. You've had this decade and the decade before. Let us have something.
Correct.
Like,
get out
Jesus.
of here. You've had plenty.
Yeah.
You've been feasting. It's time for the others.
You and Alabama can go on somewhere.
So we both agree, though. Bills, we just a little different on point
scores,
range, but hey, nonetheless, it's going to be Bills.
What's the spread? Do we know?
I do not know.
I think it's 3 points. Let's see. Every home game is favored this playoffs. So I think it's 3 points or 4.5. But yeah, so these 2 games today, I think, are the more intriguing. Well, I mean, obviously next week's or tomorrow's the Cowboys, but I think these games are really intriguing because they're both AFC games, and I'm not too familiar with the AFC because I don't really pay attention. But my AFC team lost at the end of the year, so I was rooting for the Chargers this year. So
yeah, they were so close, man. I really like Justin Herbert. I would have liked to see
the team I'm rooting for this playoffs for the AFC is gonna be the Bengals. I'd like to see them win.
So according to CBS Sports, Buffalo right now is favored by 4.5.
Yeah, so I don't think that they cover that spread. I think it's gonna be 1 or 2 points. Yeah. I think 4.5 is a little much for that game.
Yeah, they got a over under 43.5 points. Under? You think? I'm hitting the over on it. Like I said, I think the Bills are going to come alive. I think they're going to bring the
43. Oh, they'll go over because 21, 24. That's over. Yeah, they'll be over that. Yeah. Well, it depends on the weather. Is it supposed to be snowing there? Because if you look at the radar, I looked at the radar yesterday. The projection for that whole area is insane.
Let's see.
There's a lot of snow and
I really like the Weather Channel app because you can just type in a new city
location
and see what they're.
You don't have to add it and go to it.
Correct. Just type it in and see. So let's see Buffalo.
Weather in these outdoor stadiums is a big deal.
Shout out to the Weather Channel app, sponsor the show.
Yeah. Let's get that
dude.
What? 0 degrees, right?
So that 14 points that I was talking about, I did not take weather into account.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
It is currently 11 degrees there. It feels like -2.
Yep.
Snow heavy at times. It's got a 45% chance for snow this afternoon.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be a mess.
Game time's what, 7:15?
Yeah, it's gonna get cold.
7:15 Central Time. So it's gonna be at that time 7 degrees.
Yeah.
Which probably means it's gonna feel like
-5.
You're spot on. That's what it says. Feels
Yeah.
like -5. No snow at that time though.
Maybe.
It says 68% humidity. I don't know.
Oh, that's gonna be cold, man. So you take the cold weather. You know what happens in cold weather? Receivers drop balls.
Yeah.
So
this I may have to change my prediction now that I'm thinking about it. As much I think I got lost in the sauce of how much I like the Bills and how much I like Josh Allen and how much I dislike the Patriots. I'm still not changing my pick though.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm saying
sticking with my gut intuition. 14 points. They're gonna find a way.
I think it's gonna be cold. Obviously, it's gonna be cold.
You may switch to the under though.
Yeah,
it's gonna be 14-0.
I think there'll be a lot of field goals getting kicked.
14-0 Bills.
Damn, it's gonna be
Patriots ain't gonna be able to figure it out.
3-0. Is this a hockey game? I'm confused. Yeah. All right, let's go to tomorrow's game.
Next game. So leading off the slate tomorrow. You've got you got the Eagles and the Bucks playing at noon. I like this one a lot. We talked about the AFC dog. This is my NFC dog here. I think the Eagles are going to come out and they're going to run the ball down the Bucks' throat. I think the Bucks are worn down at this point in the season. I think they've been struggling leading into the playoffs. They've had a lot of distractions. Primarily, obviously, the Antonio Brown incident lately. Tom Brady, I think, is overhyped this year. He throws a lot of interceptions.
Yeah.
I don't like the Bucks right now. I don't think they're the same team going into the playoffs this year that they were last year. Last year, think about them going into the playoffs. They were on a heater. I don't think they're in that same groove. The Bucks are going to lose this one. The Eagles are going to be the dark horse team. I don't think they make it past the second round, but I think they make it past this first round. And I think they're going to rely heavily on the run game. Jalen Hurts probably going to get involved in the run game as well. What are you thinking about this one?
So my initial thought is the Buccaneers are going to win, and I think they're going to win by 14, maybe 17.
Jesus.
Yeah, I hate the Eagles first of all, but it's not because that's not why. Just thinking of it realistically, the Eagles are one dimensional. Jalen Hurts can kind of throw, but he's one of those guys like he has to scramble outside of the pocket, and then he closes half the field off because he's scrambling to the right or he's scrambling to the left, and I think. Yeah, maybe Tampa's going to have some issues with their secondary. They've had secondary issues all season. But I think that Philadelphia has came in on a heater, right? Mm-hmm. Quote, unquote. Not really. Yeah. Now, they played their backups against the Cowboys but lost by 30.
Correct.
Okay, that's fine. But the week before that, they barely beat the Washington football team. Barely beat the Washington
football team. That defense for Washington football team.
Yeah. Chase Young's been out. Their best player didn't even play.
Chase Young's been mentoring.
They really, if the Washington football team has a quarterback that's not named Taylor Heineke, I think they win. Like, they're bad, and they barely beat them. And like, the Eagles kind of surprise people, but I don't think they're going to surprise the Bucks. And I think that Tom Brady is going to play how he always does in the playoffs. I don't think he makes it past the second round, but I think they beat the Eagles.
All I'm saying is,
you don't want to play the Buccaneers with the Packers. That's what it is. It's wishful thinking.
We wouldn't play them anyways. They're the 2 seeds. So.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But the only way we play them is if it's championship game. All I'm gonna say is, 2 years ago, Tampa and New England, Tennessee Titans, pick 6.
Yeah.
Eagles win by 6.
Okay. Hey, I'm cool with it.
They're going to pop up and surprise them.
Yeah.
Tom Brady doesn't do much whenever he's missing pieces.
Well, luckily he's got Mike Evans and Gronk. Is Fournette playing? I think Fournette's playing. No, he's out.
He's on the IR.
Oh, is he? Okay,
well, he's done for the year.
He's been out forever.
They're playing with like a third string option, and they've brought in Le'Veon Bell for their backfield. Their run game is probably pretty obsolete at this moment. Well, they may get loose if the Eagles overlook it.
Their front seven is really good. Yeah. That's their bread and butter. Is Levante David and Vita Vea and that squad that makes them good.
Yeah.
Now I mean you bring a good point. I didn't even think about all their missing pieces. Chris Godwin's out. Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones is out. Yep. But you do have
AB a week ago.
Yeah, well, Antonio Brown, whatever.
He's a crazy mofo, but he can ball.
But their best receiver is still there, Mike Evans. Yeah. Their tight end that's money in the end zone is still there. Yeah. You still have Tom Brady. Their O-line has actually been pretty decent this year. I think it's going to come down to do they get pressure on that front? Do they get pressure on that offensive line? Are they going to stop the run? The Philadelphia Eagles and 49ers play the same game, and the Cowboys and Buccaneers play a similar game. So it's going to be an interesting. That'll be an interesting playoff game for sure. Yeah. But I've got the Buccaneers, but I think winning by 2 touchdowns.
About 2 touchdowns. All right. Well, we shall see.
And rain's not going to be a factor either. So it may shower, but they're
going to be in Tampa. Weather's going to be beautiful.
Well, they were talking about there was supposed to be some monsoon coming through, but it ended up changing. And they're like, people live in Tampa. They know. Yeah. It could rain out of nowhere. So
it could rain. I mean, and if it, I mean, Aaron Rodgers even said on like McAfee's show before that like throwing a wet ball is not as hard as people make it seem.
Yep.
Because they're rotating the balls in and out every play, so you're not usually throwing a wet ball. Yeah, he's like it may be a little damp, but he's like, it's
and they got towels.
Yeah, it's not. He's like it's not like it's sopping wet.
Now if it's pouring down rain, that's
different story. Like I mean, it's gonna get soaked as soon as it comes out.
Yeah.
But all right, so moving on. Wrapping up the Sunday that's not the Sunday. Wrapping up the second game of the Sunday slate tomorrow. Your Cowboys, man. They're taking on the 49ers. 49ers are coming into town. Are the Cowboys scared, man? They've been talking, hey, don't sell your tickets to 49ers fans. They worried about 49ers fans traveling to Dallas, taking away the home field advantage.
Okay, hear me out. When was the last time the Cowboys had a home field advantage except this year? They never have a home field advantage, ever. Mm-hmm. You ever been to a Cowboys game?
Never.
In Jerry World? It's like, great job.
No, I feel like they're going crazy in there. How does it not get loud? There's like 110,000 people in there.
So, hear me out. This year's different. I went to the Panthers game. It was wild. People were yelling, screaming, chanting, all that stuff. But in past games, it's the thing we talk about with the Bills. When those tickets are $400 a seat, you lose your blue-collar people. You lose the people that are real, true fans. And I'm not saying that these people aren't true fans, but you get guys in suits and stuff up there and part of corporations.
You don't get the guy that's had 30 beers in the parking lot before he comes in.
They stay in the parking lot.
Like, think about the Packers games. It's going to be probably 10 degrees outside, and there's going to be dudes in overalls with no shirts that have been probably beer bonging beers in the parking lot for the past 8 hours.
The Cowboys fans...
The Cowboys don't have that.
I'm a huge Cowboys fan. You know that. I love them. But those stadiums get so quiet.
I feel like this year, though, has been different. Like you said, though. I feel like they... It has. No, don't get me wrong. Like, the Cowboys always have... Y'all always got that buzz. It's going to be our year. It's going to be our year.
Well, that's just how football teams
That's how it is. Yeah. But...
You hear it more often because you live in Dallas.
Yeah, and it's just unrealistic. That's all. But
so
this year, I think... You guys maybe believe what you're saying a little bit more.
So
it's not like
because the record backs
you're not saying it tongue in cheek anymore. It's more so like, hey, like really do think this is the chance.
The record backs it up though.
Yeah, I mean they've got a good record, and I'm not saying anything bad about them.
So
I'm just asking. So are the Cowboys scared?
No. So the Cowboys have not said. The Cowboys specifically have not came out and said that. It's all the Cowboys fans that have said that stuff, and it's because they saw. What San Francisco has a really loyal fan base. It's not as big as the Cowboys fan base, but it's more centralized and they travel together. So they went to everybody was talking. I don't know what it's going to look like. It may be red and white. It may be white. It may be red. Who knows? But the difference between these folks traveling from San Francisco to Los Angeles is they're in the same state.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going from It's a little bit further of a trip, but it's basically like going from Dallas to Austin is the trip, right? It's a 6-hour drive. It's a lot easier than getting on a plane, spending $500 to fly from San Francisco to Dallas.
Nah, you could go Southwest round trip.
Yeah, but and with all
bags fly free,
with all the plane stuff going on right now, it may be a little bit tougher.
Delay. Yeah. Could you imagine if you spent like $400 on some tickets for this game?
Oh, dude, that's the
flight gets delayed.
That's nosebleeds.
I know, but just like I would be mad if they're nosebleeds. Yeah. Spend that much money on it, your flight gets delayed or canceled or something like that, and you can't make it.
Well, and think about this too. The LA fan base may be big because it's Los Angeles, but it's not a very loyal fan base because they just moved there. Yeah. And they also have another football team there that is also in the same boat.
And I feel like the Rams was the one they actually wanted originally.
Well, the problem
I feel like the Chargers are getting into the culture a little bit more now there. But originally they didn't want them.
Every game the Chargers go to is an away game, even at home.
Yeah.
Because like when they played Vegas there, it was like all Vegas fans.
All the Oakland people right there.
But like if you think about it, LA is big enough. It's a huge city. So it can have two teams. But football it hasn't really been a forethought for them. They've had basketball. They have two baseball teams, and you know the Dodgers are obviously way more popular. The Lakers are way more popular. There's always one team that's like the Instagram where you post on your Instagram or put on TikTok that is famous for you. It's not cool going to a Chargers game where it may be really cool to go to a Rams game.
Sure.
So, and the problem is the San Diego fan base is pissed off at the Chargers. But think about it. San Diego is not very far from LA.
Correct.
You know, it's an hour drive to the freaking stadium.
It's not like they moved them from St. Louis to LA.
Yeah, right. Which is interesting. But I think the big thing for the LA Rams is they used to be in LA.
Yep.
So they still have the old fan base there, you know, some probably kids that grew up, their parents were fans there, you know, that kind of stuff. So but LA is similar to Dallas in the fact that you get a lot of white collar fans.
Yeah.
You get a lot of this, you know, the snapping and stuff, you know, like not literally, but like that's what I see. And I think Dallas will be fine. So I'm just going to say my predictions for the game. Everybody's talking doom and gloom for the Cowboys. Everybody loves the 49ers. They're hot on the 49ers. I get it. Right. Kyle Shanahan's been running that offense, running around, you know, running sweeps and triple options and all that cool crap. I don't give a shit. Kyle Shanahan and Dan Quinn is the matchup. Kyle Shanahan and Dan Quinn used to coach together at Atlanta. Favor, to me, goes to the defensive coordinator on that. Because Dan Quinn understands how his offense works. He's been in meetings with him as the head coach being like, hey, what are you thinking here? You know, what are your thoughts? I understand your philosophy. Whereas Kyle Shanahan may not have seen Dan Quinn's full philosophy because Dan Quinn had a defense coordinator. Mm-hmm. Dan Quinn's changed his philosophy. Kyle Shanahan's kind of kept the same philosophy. So Deebo Samuel's an incredible receiver. Like I think that's the X factor for them. George Kittle as well. And then the Cowboys just have to finish. Mm-hmm. They have to get third down conversions. They have to make their field goals. And they got to stop getting penalties. They're the most penalized team in the country. If they're disciplined and they do what they're supposed to, and they get the ball to Cooper, they get the ball to Zeke, they get the ball to CeeDee Lamb, I think they can have no problem beating the 49ers. And the 49ers have not been perfect. Mm-hmm. They've lost games.
100%.
They've lost 7 games, actually.
Correct.
They're 10-7. So to say that the 49ers are impervious is bullshit. Mm-hmm. Now, do the 49ers have a formula to beat the Cowboys? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Tough game, beat the crap out of them. They can definitely beat the Cowboys. But I've got the Cowboys winning by 7.
Okay.
And that's not saying they're 7 points better than the 49ers. I think they're just going to win by a touchdown. If that makes sense.
Sure. I love asking questions that get you hyped about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Especially whenever I know that I'm going to agree with your prediction on this one. I agree. I think everybody is hyping up the 49ers. And don't get me wrong, they are hot, but I think the Cowboys are a lot better team this year. I think the Cowboys at least make it past this first round for sure. I'll say by 3 just to not have the same exact prediction. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a close game, a 1-score game. 3 to 7 point game.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that the 49ers are going to come out and they're going to play well, and I can see the Cowboys maybe getting off to a slow start. And then maybe just kind of building from there. I think Dak's going to need to rely on his safety blanket too with Schultz there.
Yeah, and Dalton Schultz will be open. I don't know what he's doing, but he's open like every play, man.
Correct.
He's been playing so well.
Yeah, and Dak needs to utilize him because I feel like they're going to key on CeeDee Lamb, maybe key on Cooper a little bit as well. So utilize him. I don't know why they're not utilizing Zeke more often. I feel like, but. Either way, though, I still think the Cowboys are going to take this one.
Well, the O-line's not...
I think the matchup is just... The Cowboys defense, I feel, is a very good defense at this present time. You got, interception leader of the league,
Micah Parsons.
You got Micah Parsons, who looks like a damn gazelle out there going from sideline to sideline.
Yep.
And,
Randy Gregory on the defensive line.
DeMarcus Lawrence back. Yeah. I mean, dude, the defense is looking good. It's just a matter of,
when that offense is playing at its top, it's one of the best offenses in the league. Yeah. When it's playing bad, it's a bad offense. It's like there's no in between for them. So that's what worries me. I'm glad that they got some momentum going into the end of the season, even though they beat the Jalen Hurts-less team. I think it was great for the offense to build some rhythm.
Yeah.
And really understand, okay, our philosophy works. We just have to execute. We've got to catch the ball. We've got to stop kicking ourselves or shooting ourselves in the foot with offensive holding penalties, with, pass interference penalties, with, you name it. The Cowboys have done it. And a 3rd and 15 or a 3rd and 20 is hell of a lot harder than a 3rd and 4 or a 3rd and 10 or a 2nd and 10, Yeah. So it's like the Cowboys shoot themselves in the foot. And then they back up, and then they punt the ball on the 40-yard line when they could, maybe have a field goal chance. And and I'm not saying Zerline would hit it, but
rolling the dice on that one.
Yeah, I mean
that seems to be the story across a lot of teams this year.
His field goal inconsistencies, except for Dan Carlson and Justin Tucker. But I think it's gonna be a fun game to watch. It's gonna be extremely stressful for me. I can already see it. But I never get my hopes up with the Cowboys. I'm just kind of giving my actual prediction, but I never get my hopes up for them because they always disappoint me in the end. So I'm excited for this playoffs for those guys, and then I'm just excited to see what happens. If they win this game, it's an old rivalry from the early 90s. Dating all the way back into the 80s with the catch. Joe Montana to whatever his name is, the tight end. And then danced on the star with Terrell Owens and all that stuff. And then 94 was the last game they played in the playoffs together, and the 49ers won that one, but the Cowboys beat them 2 years before that and won the Super Bowl 2 years. The 49ers won that year, and then the Cowboys won 95. So
a lot of history in that game.
Yeah, there's a lot going. There was a lot of history between the two big rivals. People don't even think about that because it hasn't been a thing in the past 20 years because both teams have not been great.
Yep.
So I think it'll be fun. I know a lot of those old fans will have a lot of fun watching that, and including myself, I love to see that, and I think it's going to be fun regardless of if it's a bunch of 49ers fans or a bunch of Cowboys fans. I don't think it's going to be enough 49ers fans to affect the play on the field.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, and I think it really is going to come down to what version of Dak shows up as well.
Yeah,
is his decision making needs to be,
he's been like
pretty much almost error free.
He's been a smidge off. Like some of the throws he makes, I'm like. And sometimes he'll make a beautiful throw, but it's almost like he's not as accurate as he needs to be.
Right.
I think the decisions may be all right, but sometimes it's like
he's not putting the placement where it should.
Yeah, the decision may not look as great because he's throwing the ball a step behind or he's just missing, and it's like, well, he made a bad decision.
But then there's been times this year where he's just looked absolutely phenomenal playing. So,
I'll tell you the biggest problem for Dak right now is not necessarily Dak, is drop balls.
Yeah.
When the Cowboys suck, the Cowboys drop the ball.
I noticed CD drops quite a bit.
He does. He'll make catches he shouldn't make, and then he'll drop catches he should catch.
Sure.
Luckily, Amari Cooper's gotten better with drop balls, but the problem is our two best receivers are both players that drop the ball a lot historically.
Yep.
So Dalton Schultz has been good at catching the ball. Michael Gallup was really good. Now he's out with an ACL tear.
I like Cedric Wilson.
Cedric Wilson looks good. So
I picked him up in a daily fantasy lineup just because he was cheap for the lineup. He's a good filler. And past 2 weeks, he's been killing it.
He's been crushing it, and I'm excited to see how he does.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're moving on from the Cowboys. Again, we're both taking them.
Wesley said, just don't play Connor Williams. Hey, Connor Williams is going to play, and he's going to have about 3 false starts, 2 holding penalties. 50 yards will go directly to Connor Williams. That's for you, Wesley. It's a true fact.
We'll cost you guys 50 yards for the day.
Yeah, just take that out. And every other play he plays well, so it is what it is. I think too, Tyrone Smith doesn't look nearly as good as he has been. Zach Martin's still Old Faithful, but Tyrone Smith is holding false starts. He's getting beat. He's not like he was. So we'll see. I hope he comes back to his normal destroying defensive end ways. We'll see.
Wrapping up the Sunday slates, they got Steelers heading into Kansas City.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we may not talk on this one too long. I don't know what is much to really be said about this. All I can say is I'm glad that Big Ben made the playoffs his final year. It was good to see you in the playoffs. I wish you nothing but the best in retirement, big dog. Like, there's no way the Steelers win this game. The only way they do is if somehow the Steelers defense comes out and forces some turnovers, maybe even scores themselves. They need a miracle to beat the Chiefs. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Chiefs win by at least 2 scores.
I'm calling it and patch me in, boys. That's what Wesley said.
Oh, did
he? Yeah.
Bring it in. But But no, I don't think they have a shot. The defense is not there in my opinion.
The Steelers.
Phone in, Wesley. I'll put you on speakerphone.
Their offense is not great. Najee Harris is their best player in their team on offense. The X factor is TJ Watt for them, but I mean, if they win, Patrick Mahomes is dead. He gets assassinated before. That's what happens. I mean, that's the only way.
That's the only way. I mean, literally dead because TJ Watt maybe Do you
think 12.5 for the spread is the right number?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think you can still bank on the Chiefs to cover that. I mean, I think it's gonna be at least a 14-point game. The problem is the Steelers are not gonna. Their offense isn't gonna be able to keep up. And I'm not trying to discount the Steelers' defense too much, but at the same time though,
well, they got T.J. Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick. That combination is pretty deadly.
I know, but Patrick Mahomes on the other end, I just see him dissecting.
Patrick Mahomes and
Travis Kelce
and
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
all you need.
Come on, man.
Well, now Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's not playing, but that Damian Williams, I think is his name.
Yeah,
he's been crushing.
He'll be there, and it's a kind of a next man up thing in their backfield, and that's usually how it's always been. You got Andy Reid. I mean, dude, I wouldn't bet against his coaching against. Nothing against Mike Tomlin, but Mike Tomlin just doesn't have the pieces
and their defense has played a lot better this.
Oh boy,
this time. So
Dolphin Daddy coming in. We're accepting this call from the old Dolphin Daddy. What's going on? You're on the air, man. What's up, dude?
Oh, man. You know what? I'm just watching my son eating avocado with his hands.
Oh, avocado toast boy already?
Yeah, no way, bro. He just got a slippery little avocado, man.
Oh, man.
His best to control himself,
Yeah.
And saw you guys were live. It's incredibly rude, AJ. I hate to intrude on your show. But I have some takes, and I felt like it's necessary to air them out.
Well, let's hear it, Dolphin Daddy.
It's about Dak.
Okay.
It's about Rain Dakota Prescott. He's his 2016 self in the second half of the season.
Okay.
Minus the fact that he doesn't want to be as mobile as 2016 Dak. He can be, but that's not always like the second option.
Do you think he's scared?
I think that I think it could be a little bit of that, but I think after his injury at Patriots, he hasn't been the same. I think it all kind of like turned its head around that game.
Yeah, I mean, but do you think it's physically that he can't do it, or do you think it's mentally where he's holding back a little bit because he's a little scared? Maybe he's not scared outwardly, but anxiety wise.
It seems 100% mental to me because I feel like Kellen Moore can put him in a successful situation. But Dak's got so many like options and checks to really open up the playbook in so many ways with his feet. But yeah, I think the mental aspect is holding him back from using those, from using his legs.
Well, do you think that the offensive line not playing very good this season? I don't think they've played very well at all. Has a factor in it because like Dak's stats whenever he has time in the pocket, he's like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But when he gets pressure, he's like terrible. Do you think that the offensive line has something to do with it?
Yes and no. I think that Dak is so good at play action, and I just don't know why we don't do that enough.
They don't run the ball well enough.
Hey, I have a good theory for you on why Dak is not playing up to snuff sometimes.
Why is that?
He's sandbagging. He doesn't want to lose his offensive coordinator. It's a head coaching job.
Yeah. And you know what? This is always something I always choose to believe when things start going downhill at the end of the season, especially against Cardinals. We were at that game, and my dad said something. He was like, "You know what I think it is, Wes?" And this is purely hearsay, and I know this is probably not true, but it's always something I tend to believe. Is he said, we just weren't running our playoff plays. And I always choose to believe that for some reason. Like, I always hope, like, going into the playoffs that there's going to be, like, a certain select set of plays that we have dialed in, ready to go.
Nobody's ever seen them before.
Nope to you.
I really hope that there's something, like, just a minor switch that's not on all the other game tapes.
Hey, I'll give you some hope, though. I was surfing through the Instagram story land and saw DeMarcus Ware. He posted a video with Micah Parsons saying, "I can't even get this man to smile." So I guess he's been working with Micah Parsons the past couple days, staying with him and going through different stuff and working with him. So that's got to make you feel good.
I'm not worried about our defensive front. I'm worried about defensively. I'm worried about
safeties,
the double move against Diggs.
Because he's so aggressive, He wants that pick so bad. It's like, hey man, guard the receiver, then go for the pick. Like you got to do that.
I'll take the yards. Bend don't break mentality. You know what I mean? He's coming up with picks. I'll take the turnovers and sacrifice the yards.
But he can have both. Like he's athletic enough and skilled enough to have both.
Maybe the other will come in time.
I think it will.
Player. Hey Wesley, what's your prediction on the Cowboys game today? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'd take the Cowboys by a field goal. It's going to be hard because Deebo Samuel's an absolute freaking cheat code, and they're going to try to get him going as soon as possible.
And always running the ball.
Yeah,
probably throwing the ball.
It's going to be unbelievable.
He'll probably kick the ball. He'll probably play cornerback.
Oh my goodness! Check this out, y'all. He's got all this avocado on him.
Ooh, hey.
What's up, Asher?
Got that all on your drip, Asher. Yeah, what's up, Carly?
Jedi drip.
Happy belated, Carly.
Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
But yeah, I would say Cowboys by field goal. I just think that I know, like, it's usually in the Cowboys mantra to lose first round, but
in the mantra.
No, hey, listen, Wesley, we win the first round. It's just we suck against the Packers in the divisional rounds.
Hey, Mike McCarthy's ushering in a new era for you boys. Okay,
maybe it'll be a watermelon game.
He's hammering the watermelons.
He's
gonna get it. He's gonna get it. I think the Cowboys got this one. Yeah, all I got to say is y'all better hope y'all don't ever have to run into the Packers.
Hey, Wesley.
What's up?
We need to get on the show together in person.
We do.
We
definitely do.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm so down, man.
With some coffee.
For sure. I want to have like as many nitros as I can, just before shitting myself, but like
yeah.
But like close, like just so where I'm so amped up and like ready to go and like fired up with takes. Honestly, whenever the Cowboys lose in the playoffs, that's when I should come on because the Mavericks will probably be on a pretty big swing around then as well, and we got to talk basketball.
We need to get you guys like a Mavericks segment.
We do need a Mavericks segment, because we're in a
get Gasper on there too.
We're in a group chat now with Ryan, AJ, and myself, and I named it RMFs. That's not real MFers. That's real Mavericks fans.
MFFL.
It could be whatever you want to be, really. It could be whatever, whatever little acronym you want it to be. But, anyways, as far as Cowboys go, I told you, Dylan, before the season, right on the day the season started, Dak is not elite. I'm standing by it. He's good, really, 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 really good, but he's not elite.
Not elite.
He's that tier right below. I think he's with like Joe Burrow and Derek Carr.
I appreciate you saying that, AJ, because I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I think his ceiling is still. I think he still has a ceiling to get better, but he makes his throws he makes are not like crisp enough. He's not putting the ball in the window that he should be putting it in.
I would even put, and you're going to disagree with this, probably. I would put Josh Allen in that same category. Now I know he's improved, but
I'm with you because he's came up short in some big not
exactly.
big games that were just more so sleeper trap games.
To me, Josh Allen last year I think was in that elite category for sure because he was an MVP candidate. But I think Josh Allen is arm talent wise is right on par with Aaron Rodgers. When it comes to his arm talent, I think he's the top in the league. And I think his ceiling is higher than Dak and Derek Carr and Joe Burrow personally. I think Josh Allen's ceiling is as high as it gets. I just think that their offense is flawed. The difference is Derek Carr has a tight end to throw to. Joe Burrow has a tight end safety net to throw to. Josh Allen does not. And Josh Allen they don't have a good running game. So those other quarterbacks are helped with the running game. Josh Allen is out there with him and Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley, which you know how Cole Beasley is, but I don't think that he has the weapons that the other teams have.
I think their tight end's decent.
Right? You don't think Josh Allen has the weapons?
He does.
He's got Stephon Diggs, Knox, you just said, Cole Beasley. I mean, come on, man.
But Cole Beasley is at the end of his career.
Yeah, he's unvaccinated. I know. No.
But I think the Bills season would have looked a lot differently if Cole Beasley would have played every single game. And I think that Stephon Diggs is
not playing
more than a capable enough number one receiver.
Well, he hasn't played very well this season.
I know. I haven't in fantasy this year.
I think, but I also think that Josh Allen has taken a step back this year.
Agreed.
Well, I think the entire Bills team took a step back this season until the end of the season. Now they've picked it up at the end of the season, though.
I do really like. Is it Sean McDermott?
Sean McDermott. Yeah, Sean.
Yeah.
Sheen.
McDougie.
He's good,
I'm
man.
in the shower, Sheen.
I think Josh Allen is a better quarterback than people didn't. I think a lot of people really love him and a lot of people don't like him, but I think he makes plays that are just out of this world. And then his athletic ability is incredible. I think that he's a top 3, maybe top 4 quarterback. I think he's right in between Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and the Dak and Joe Burrow. He's in that echelon right above that, I think.
He's floating in the limbo between that.
Like he has the capability to go up, and he could go down. You know, like he's not sitting at the top. I got you.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah. If we had the option to get Josh Allen over Dak, I'm taking it tomorrow.
You know what he is, man? He's like a serrated knife, dude. He's like
kind of sharp.
He's like really good for chopping some things and not really good for chopping others. You know, like.
I love that.
That's great. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So there's my freaking profound analogy for the day.
Better write that one down.
Yeah, there's my takes. Boys, y'all have a great day. Thank you for having me on.
Happy Wildcard weekend.
Hey.
I'm going to go to Commerce to say hi to Pops.
Say hi to CJ for me.
Yeah.
I will. I'll do that.
Have some burgers.
Oh, yeah. Craig's making some Craig burgers tonight, so it's going to be wicked.
Some CJ burgers, boy.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all have a good time, man. I appreciate you calling in. I need to do this more often. I need to get a better setup than holding the phone up to the microphone.
Thank you for having me.
We'll get set up.
Thank you for having me, guys. And, bye, Jason Kidd.
Everybody give it up for your boy, Wesley. That's Wesley Jensen. That's the dog right there. From, if you notice, he skated away without really mentioning the Dolphins this time around. I didn't ask him. He was too profound on his Cowboys.
Well, what's
fired Jason Kidd. He's on that shit, man. But
what's there to say about the Dolphins this year? Nothing.
Yeah.
They went on a hot streak and then they fired their coach.
He had to. Hey, I think they had a decent season. But
they're not in the playoffs, so then you can't talk about it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you calling in, Wesley. It's always awesome to chat with you, my friend. We gotta figure out something better for like when people do call in. Like we're gonna figure something out. Maybe take callers.
Yeah. I do not want to hear what callers we get.
I do. I want to get some fucking.
I'm stuck on the side of the road.
We've been trying to reach you for your car's extended warranty.
Is this the tow truck company?
Yeah, we're over here on Farm Market Road. We're stranded. I need you to come over here and give us some roadside assistance.
This is not what you're thinking.
So. You got the wrong number, buddy. They already like a phone line to maybe even leave some voicemail. We didn't figure something out with that, but more in tune for that. Back to our conversation. Steelers Chiefs, man. I mean, like I said, there's not much to say about it with Chiefs, man.
Chiefs by 14.
Yeah, at least 14.
I think they'll cover the spread.
At least 14 for the Chiefs. Wrapping up the Super Wildcard weekend, I find this absolutely absurd. We've got a Monday Night Football game in the middle of the playoffs. How do you do that? Because now you have teams on short notice having to turn around and play. But at the end of the day, you can make the argument of, some teams played on Saturday and not Sunday or whatever. But
they had more rest for this game.
But if you think about it, though, like
you want the rest going in. You want the rest on the back end of the playoffs, not in the beginning.
Now, the question is, though, I'm assuming Monday night's probably always been the scheduled slate for this weekend, right?
Well,
so if that's the case, don't end up in the seed that plays on Monday night.
Well, my thing is, why not? So you have 3 slots on Friday or on Sunday. So you've got a noon, a 3:30, and a 7.
Why not on Saturday?
Why not just put that game on Saturday?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
And so, because I get it, you don't want to simulcast or play games at the same time because then you can't watch.
Yeah, you take away ratings.
But why not just put that game on Saturday where the fans don't like Monday is a holiday for a lot of people, so they don't have to work. Not for everybody, but for most people, like banks and schools and military and all that stuff. But why not allow your fans to get some, like, to be able to stay up and drink a little bit for the Rams-Cardinals game, and we all got to go work Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck, man?
Exactly, man. Yeah.
Like, there's no college football right now. Use that Saturday slot. Who else? Nobody cares about the NBA on Saturday. Nobody cares about hockey on Saturday. Like, no offense. Like, the NFL is king. The NFL... Like, we heard on Pat McAfee's show, they tweeted about it. The NFL has 17 million average viewers a game.
They said there's probably going to be about 30 or 40 million people watching these
games.
That
is almost 10% of the United States population.
Is going to be watching every game.
That's crazy.
That doesn't include like the spikes in coverage.
Well, and the Cowboys game had the Cowboys Raiders game was the most watched game this season. Had 40 million viewers.
It's insane on how many people watch NFL football. But yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited for it. But Monday night, it seems weird that they're having one. To your point, I don't get why they didn't do it. But anyways, on Monday night they do have Cardinals going into the Rams. Dude, what happened to the Cardinals? Talk about a fall off this season. They were king of the mountain and then slid all the way down to a wild card spot. They were, for the first half of the season,
2 to 3 games ahead of everybody.
All the way up until that Packers loss.
Yeah.
The Packers exposed them, bro.
Well, so I think the Cardinals reflect the coach. So Cliff Kingsbury, I think, is an offensive mind. We get that. He was at Tech. But what did he do at Tech? He was very average at Tech. I think he's just he creates an inconsistent culture, I think. And the Cardinals have been very inconsistent because of that. Now, mind you, the Cardinals slid. They lost DeAndre Hopkins. J.J. Watt got hurt. Sounds like J.J. Watt's going to be healthy for this game. Don't know if that makes much of a difference, though. I just think that the Cardinals were out. I think that they were outplaying their coverage at the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. I think they were playing better than what they were. Yeah. I think what we see now, I think they're more of a 10-7 team and less of a 13-4 team. I think that they're probably where they need to be now. Mm-hmm. Being the fifth slot. I think they're the fifth slot. Yeah. Playing the Rams. Now the Rams. I mean that NFC West. You remember at the beginning of the season, everybody was talking about how good they were. Every single team on there is able to make the playoffs.
And 3 of their 4 teams did make the playoffs.
Right. But they have all been super inconsistent.
100%. That's why they've all 3 managed to make the playoffs. Because
they've been inconsistent against each other.
Correct.
Like the Rams are not as good as we thought.
And they got swept by the Packers. That's for sure. The Packers swept through the West.
The NFC West. Well, the Seahawks we thought were going to be better than they were. They were terrible this season. Yeah. The Rams have been very inconsistent. Mm-hmm. They've won, but they've been inconsistent. The whole NFL, minus really the Packers, have been very inconsistent this year. Mm-hmm. And even the Packers had a what in the hell just happened game at the beginning of the season.
Correct. And the only reason why you don't really think of them as inconsistent is because since then they've kind of righted the ship. They lost to the Lions, but we didn't play people. Yep. We lost to, who are our other losses? I think we lost one of the Vikings,
which is
by 3 divisional game.
But getting back to the Rams Cardinals, the Rams have been inconsistent. The Cardinals have been super inconsistent at the end of the season. And then you have who's the other team so it's 49ers. Now the 49ers have been more consistent as of late. Yep. At the beginning, first.
If anything, they're the hotter team out of the 3 from that, and they're the lowest seed from that.
But I don't think that they ended up being as good as everybody said.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season.
I think the Cardinals issue as well, though, is you're seeing a true reflection of what happens when DeAndre Hopkins goes down, because
he draws all that attention.
So originally he drew all the attention, but they had no other options last year.
Yep. Now they have
this options. Year they brought in options with AJ Green, Christian Kirk. I mean, they've got
Christian Kirk's been there.
Yeah, well, yeah, you get what I'm saying. But I'm saying that's who they have. They have options. Those are the options they have, right?
Well, they added Travis Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz, that's right. Yeah, added Zach Ertz during the season.
Yep.
Which, by the way, do you think the Eagles are feeling stupid for making that trade now?
He was not happy in Philadelphia, I don't think.
But you have Zach Ertz for the playoffs right now.
That's tough.
You could be potentially playing against Zach Ertz at some point in the playoffs.
And he knows your offense.
Oh, dude, I low-key hope they run into each other now just because of that. I'm going to change my pick to the Cardinals today just because I want to see Zach Ertz possibly play. Well, no, because the only way they would play is if they end up in the championship game against each other, and I don't want that because I want my Packers.
I think the Cardinals win.
Take it back.
I think the Cardinals win. I think
this one's tough.
I know. They're so inconsistent, both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know actually. Like Matt Stafford, if he plays to his best ability, I think he's an amazing quarterback. But I just think Kyler Murray's got something there that's different. I think that he's got this X factor that you can't put a finger on. And if DeAndre Hopkins is actually healthy, I think that they destroy him. Even with Jalen Ramsey out there playing amazing, I think that Jalen Ramsey covers who he covers. And then you've got all these other receivers out there. You've got AJ Green, who's been playing better. You've got Zach Ertz out there. You got James Conner back, who James Conner's back.
Mm-hmm.
He's a dual threat running back. And then you've got Edmonds, who's also a really good running back.
Yep.
And then that defense with Budda Baker and those cats and J.J. Watt coming back, I think that they're primed and ready to win at least one playoff game. And then the Rams, I think, are kind of on the downtrend. Now they have the best. I think the Rams have the best player in the league, in Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
And then they have the best corner in the league, in
Jalen
Ramsey.
And they added Von Miller.
But he's been inconsistent. I think the problem with the Rams is, we talked about this last time, is Odell Beckham. They keep trying to force him the ball.
Yeah.
Like you saw it at the end of the game last week.
Mm-hmm.
They threw the ball up against the 49ers.
Just give it to Cooper Kupp, man.
Yeah, well, and Cooper Kupp's the best receiver in the league this year.
Force it to him. If you're going to force feed anybody, that's who you force.
But that shows you that the best teams don't necessarily have the top players.
Correct.
It's all about the chemistry of the team. And I think throwing Odell Beckham in there, he's such a different person. Not saying he can't mesh with them, but I think it takes time for the Von Millers and those big personalities and Odell Beckham to come in and mesh. And you watched it last week. They lost the game because Matt Stafford didn't throw the ball far enough. Yeah, Odell was open. But if that's any other receiver, you're not even throwing that.
Yeah, correct.
You're just throwing the ball up to Odell just because it's Odell. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think this one's one of the toughest games on the slate this weekend to pick. This one, and I think the 49ers Cowboys game is probably one of the tougher ones to pick.
Yep.
And then probably runner up to that would probably be your
Raiders Bengals.
Yeah, Raiders Bengals.
That's a tough one.
I think those are your three toughest ones picking right now.
I've got the Cardinals on this.
I want to take the Cardinals, man, but like it's just the last half of their season was so bad.
And so were the Rams.
I know, but like I don't know. I feel more comfortable with the Rams, I think, than I do with the Cardinals at this present time. If the Cardinals have DeAndre Hopkins, I'm no doubt in my mind picking the Cardinals.
They got DeAndre Hopkins this week.
He's out still, isn't he?
No, I think he's back. Look it up.
I'm pretty sure he's still hurt, my dude.
Well, I thought he was supposed to come back for the playoffs. That's what I read.
Let's see.
Well, I had to pick an underdog because I haven't picked one yet.
Yeah.
So that's my underdog team.
Gotcha.
And they're not much of an underdog, but I think it's a safer underdog pick than any other.
Cardinals, DeAndre Hopkins is not available.
Ooh.
JJ's watch return is up in the air. That was as of the 12th. That was 3 days ago.
No, he's back. JJ Watt's back.
Yeah.
Because they put the eyeballs on their tweet.
Yeah, but they've already ruled DeAndre out midweek. So DeAndre Hopkins isn't playing.
That might change my prediction.
Man. I just like I said. I think if they have them there, I just think that. I think the Rams are going to piece it together. I think they've got one of the best receivers in the league right now in Cooper Kupp.
Well, stats-wise, he is the best receiver in the league.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like, I mean,
he won the Triple Crown.
Yeah. Quarterback-wise, I think Matthew Stafford, when he's on, can bring it.
He's the top.
I think Matthew Stafford has been hungry for this opportunity that he has. I think that he's going to make the most of it.
Last playoff game he played in, he lost to the Cowboys.
Yeah. But I think he's going to relish the opportunity to play in the playoffs again, because you have to think about it, he's played with the Lions his whole career. He hadn't had this chance very often. I think he's going to make the most of it. They may force Odell Beckham the ball some, but I don't necessarily know if that's going to be a terrible thing. Odell Beckham's good too. They've got a good defense. To your point, Aaron Donald got Jalen Ramsey out on the end that can
Von Miller's out there.
Lock up any receiver you got. You know.
Yeah.
I say the Rams win this one, and I say they win by 6. Yeah,
I got the Cardinals by 3, but like I said, like this is a throw up game for me. Like,
yeah,
I kind of want the Rams to win.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna pick the Cardinals.
Why are you self handicapping?
I'm not. I want the Rams to win, but I'm picking the Cardinals because I need to pick a upset team, and that's the most logical upset game that I could pick.
Yeah.
Because they're familiar with each other.
Correct. Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, it's going to be a toss-up. I love seeing the divisional games or divisional rivalry games in the playoffs. I think they're going to be exciting to watch. I mean, you got that one. You got the Bills and Patriots squaring off against each other. I don't think there's any other divisional teams playing against each other.
It's
No, Bengals and Raiders are not the same. No, those are the only ones that are playing each other. I think those are going to be good games to watch just because there's the familiar.
Bills Patriots is another one that's going to be interesting.
I think the Bills Patriots one's going to be interesting as well.
Which we got the Raiders Bengals coming up in an hour?
Yeah, game time coming up in about an hour and a half. Everybody get your fucking popcorn ready. Get your wings. Pick up your food. Get your grill going. It's time to drink some beer, watch some football.
Hey, you got it real quick. Do you have any hot takes on this coaching situation real quick?
Which coaching situation?
Well, all the coaching situations. So I'll just go down the list for you. Miami fired their coach. Houston fired their coach. Denver fired their coach. Chicago fired their coach and GM. Minnesota fired their coach and GM. Who else? There was one more, I thought. Oh, the Giants fired their coach. Their GM retired.
Yeah.
But there were 7, so I'm missing one.
Did you get Judge in New York?
Yeah, I just said that one.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one more, but so do you have any like hot takes? Like, do you think what's the best if you had an opportunity to play or to coach, what is the best job out there to coach?
Let's run down again the list real quick. You've got Giants, you've got Denver, you've got Chicago, you've got Minnesota, Houston,
Miami, and New York.
Jets?
Giants. You already said Giants?
I think so. All right.
Regardless,
New York Giants, I don't think there's anybody else that I would. I think best situation, Minnesota Vikings.
Absolutely.
I think if I'm in the market for a head coaching job and there's one I want to take, it's there. Only thing I don't like about that job is who my quarterback's going to be in Kirk Cousins.
But out of that,
if you can bring old Kirk Cousins out of him, hey, that's going to be the job right there because they've already got a good defense. They've got a great running back in Dalvin
great
Cook.
Receiver in Justin Jefferson.
Who has surprised me this year. I was talking earlier in the year how to be able to duplicate what he did last year.
A great fan base.
Loyal fan base.
Loud.
You're playing in a dome, so even though you're up north, you don't have to worry about that.
Well, you talk about that's a beautiful stadium, by the way.
The division you get to play in, just in like the legacy of the NFL, you play in the division with the Chicago Bears, where you're going to play them twice. You're going to play the Green Bay Packers twice. You're going to play the Detroit Lions.
You have 2 wins automatically.
Twice. Yeah, you got 2 wins basically in the Detroit Lions. If the Bears don't get their shit together, you got it. I think the only other good option that's out there is Miami. I like Miami as well because I think they showed promise this year. I think the biggest issue that they have right now is there's a coaching issue where they're not lacking. They don't lack confidence in the coach lacked confidence in Tua. Who it's clear that the front office
wants Tua,
and Tua's going to be the guy.
They made that draft pick.
He's going to be the guy. So whoever they bring in is going to have to be comfortable with the fact that Tua is going to be his guy going forward. Tua showed some promise, so I think if good leadership there, I think Minnesota and Miami are probably the 2 best.
So for me, Minnesota is my number 1. I think they play with swagger. I think that Minneapolis is a beautiful city. It's really cold up there, but that stadium is gorgeous.
Yeah.
They've got a gorgeous indoor practice facility out there as well. I really enjoyed Minneapolis when I visited. I used to live really close out there, and I got to tour the stadium. They got the big giant raid horn that's really cool. Like it's their fans have some swag out there. They do that skull thing is pretty cool. I think also Minneapolis being a smaller market, but it stretches over such a big geographical, location. I think that there's less pressure up there in Minneapolis. I think that it's a hockey town, so I think the pressure to be really great immediately is a little bit less.
Could be good for a young coach.
Yeah, a good young upstart coach that can utilize. Maybe Kirk Cousins can be there for a couple of seasons. You can draft a quarterback maybe next year, not this year, but next year. What?
No, you're good. I just had an epiphany. You keep moving.
Draft a quarterback and have Kirk Cousins coach him up, and then move him in and move Kirk Cousins out, or go and pick up a quarterback that's sitting out there just chilling, like
Jameis Winston,
or somebody that's decent enough to play. Why not? If Jimmy G ends up staying in San Francisco, go pick Jimmy G up. But I think my second job that I would want to go to is Denver.
Mm-hmm.
All they need is a quarterback.
100%.
Jared Judy's been good. Emmanuel Sanders is good. They have a good running back situation with Melvin Gordon and the other guy. I can't think of his name. They've got a good defense. I thought Vic Fangio was great. He had that defense rolling. They fired him. I get it, but you've got a great ownership suite. You've got John Elway up there.
Yep.
Denver's gorgeous. There's a lot to do out there.
Correct.
Now they expect a lot out of you in Denver, and you're in a tough division. You've got the Chiefs, sitting there. You got the Raiders, you get the Chargers, all in your division, which is tough. But I think that those are the two best jobs. I would hate to be in Miami, and I'll tell you why. Because that GM has been there for 20 years, and they have not won.
And they're not willing to get rid of him.
They're not willing to get rid of him. So you got to change that whole culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make a good point on that. With Denver, the thing I worry about if I were to be a potential head coach, the uncertainty of who's about to own the team. New ownership brings in new culture, this.
That's true.
You go in under this.
It could be positive.
Yeah, it could be, but you go in under this expectation, you get this. I mean, there could be some problems. But to your point, though, I think whoever comes in with the owner, it could be in a win now mentality. Because to your point, all they need is a quarterback.
Well, what's going to happen though, Dylan?
Kellen Moore, hold on.
Yeah.
To Minnesota, that was the epiphany I had.
Oh yeah.
I think he could bring some life out of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I would hate that.
I think that would be bad for my Packers, but
yeah, but and Kellen Moore's familiar with Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins was over at Washington. But so hear me out though with Denver. The team's up for sale, right? They're talking like $5 or $6 million it's going to sell for, which is insane. But
5 or 6 million or billion?
I'm sorry, billion.
With a B.
With a B, billion.
Okay, I was about to say 5 or 6 million.
Well, what typically happens is unless it's Jeff Bezos
hell of a deal.
or Elon Musk, nobody's paying outright for the stadium. So what they're going to do is they're going to partner with multiple entities. What I see happening is a situation where kind of like Magic Johnson with the Dodgers is or with the Lakers, I think it's the Dodgers. And is what's going to happen is John Elway and maybe Peyton Manning are probably going to partner with whatever associates, maybe one big head that's got a lot of money, and they're going to put some equity into the ownership. Gotcha. And they're going to basically run the team with that owner. I don't think that you're going to see this out of left field guy come to Denver and be like, yeah, I'm throwing this out. We're done. I think that you're going to get somebody that's going to take the football minds and put John Elway into a position of leadership again. I mean, he's a president, I think. And I think they're going to bring a young head coach in. They're going to bring a young staff. And I think that all that team needs is a rejuvenation on offense. Mm-hmm. I think they're tough and hard-nosed, like Vic Fangio. All they need is some electricity in there, and they're good.
Yeah, 100%.
And who doesn't want to go to Denver?
I mean, it'd be a cool place to go, man. Cool place to live. You're up in the mountains. Cool place to play, I think. Or
maybe.
Cool place to play. Cool place to coach, probably. I mean, yeah.
I like Minnesota though. I think
Minnesota's top destination.
Yeah.
Denver's probably second. I think you changed my mind on that. I didn't even consider the GM of the Dolphins being there for 20 years.
Well, and that's
how do you go as the GM for the Dolphins for 20 years and not have been fired?
Well, and that's
they've been
why
absolutely terrible. They've had plenty of opportunities to be good,
and that's why I wouldn't want to go to Houston because
I'm staying the hell away from Houston. That front office is terrible.
It's the worst in the league. They like want to lose. It feels like
they traded DeAndre Hopkins for a damn bag of Doritos, basically, and then they got rid of. They ran JJ Watt out of town. They got Deshaun Watson hooking up with prostitutes, and shit, and that are massage therapists, like quote unquote, fucking.
What is going on out there?
Massage your cock for money.
What is going on in Houston?
Like Houston's just falling apart. I would not want to go there.
All of Houston sports except for the Astros.
I see now why the Oilers left and went to Tennessee.
Yeah, bye. Well, everybody sucks in Houston except for the Astros.
Yeah,
the Rockets are the worst team in the league,
and the Astros fucking cheat.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's bring it home, boys. Yeah. Hey, everybody, thank y'all for tuning in, guys. Y'all make sure to hit the like and subscribe, share, and all that bullshit if you're still with us at this point of the episode. We appreciate y'all tuning in as always. Till then, from the lab, peace out.
Deuces.